talked about angles, so we knew how to name them. We knew how to do angle addition. We knew how to do an angle being bisected. Okay, well now we're going to talk about what happens when we have special types of angle relationships. So what can happen between two angles? So our first thing that can happen for two angles, and you guys did this in your vocab word search on day 1, you define what complementary angles are. Does anybody remember what we said complementary angles are from that day 1 word search? No? All right. So your complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So 245 would be complementary angles. Will be another pairing of complementary angles. Will it be a complementary angle to 30? 60. Good. So if we put an angle here of 30 degrees, then a complementary angle would be 60 degrees. 30 and 60 would be examples of complementary angles. What would be a complementary angle to 20? 70. What would be the complementary angle to 10? 80. What would be the complementary angle to 50? 40. Good. Okay. So complementary angles need to add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are going to add up to 180. So supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. Now the key word in both of these definitions is the part where it says two angles. These have to be pairs. You cannot have three angles be supplementary. You cannot have three angles be complementary. It can only be two. A pair of angles that add up to 180. All right, so let's do an example. If I have an angle that is, let's say, 100 degrees, we'll go easy. The supplementary angle would be one that is 80 degrees. Good. Okay. If I had an angle that was 10 degrees, what would be the supplement? 170. Good. If I had an angle that was 90 degrees, what would be the supplement? 90 degrees. Right? Okay, so supplementary angles, complementary angles. Make sure you know the difference between the two. Now, adjacent angles. Think about if someone is adjacent to you, they're probably next to you. So adjacent angles are two angles that share a common vertex and a side. So up here in this example, angle 3 and angle 4 would be adjacent angles. Where's the common vertex? Right here in the middle. Good. And the common side is this ray that I'm highlighting in yellow, right? Highlight it in green. So that's your common side. So they have a common vertex and a common side. So if you look at angle 3 is this angle right here. Let's get a different color. If you look at angle 4, that is this angle right here. So do they have a vertex in common? Yes. Do they have a side in common? Yes, right here. So that makes them adjacent. Okay? All right, so now let's look at the diagrams here in this first example. And we're going to decide whether we have complementary angles, supplementary angles, or adjacent angles. So this first grouping right here, how do I know it's supplementary? Good. Very good point. Supplementary angles. For the first set, That middle set right here, it's going to be adjacent angles. Very good. And then the last set would be complementary. Good. Now, could it be true that you could have both complementary and adjacent angles at the same time? Sure. I just kind of smush these two angles together, and whoop, then they would be adjacent to. If I did the same thing here, I could make them supplementary and adjacent. Okay? All right. So we got that down. Next example, I'm going to give you a degree, and you're going to tell me what the complement is. So given that angle 1 is a complement to angle 2, and the measure of angle 1 is 68 degrees, what would be the measure of angle 2? Yeah, so we would do 90 minus 68, which gets us to 22 degrees. So the measure of angle 2 is equal to 22 degrees. Okay. Now let's do the supplement one. If I say that angle 3 and angle 4 are supplementary, and angle 4 is 56 degrees, how will we find the measure of angle 3? We would do 180 minus 56. So what does that get us? 4, 2, 1, so 124. So the measure of angle 3 would be equal to 124 degrees. All right, and we're going to end with the algebra problems. So our first algebra problem, do we have supplementary or complementary angles? Well, are they adjacent first?
Yes.
Yes. So are they adjacent complementary or adjacent supplementary? Try again. Supplementary. Why do I know that these two angles have to add up to 180 degrees? It's a straight angle, right? They make a straight angle together. They make a straight line. So they would have to be supplementary, which means supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So what am I going to do with my two supplementary angles? Add them and equal it to 180 degrees, right? All right, so let's do that. So the left angle gives us the expression 2x plus 14. The right angle gives us the expression 4x minus 20. So we're going to add those together and equal it to 180 degrees. Combine your like terms. So on the left I get a 6x and minus 6. Equal that to 180. Add 6 to both sides. Gets us 6x equals 186. Divide out the 6. So x is equal to, what is that, 31? Okay. We're not done, because what's the directions asking us to find? The measure of the two angles. So the measure of angle XYW is this angle right here. So plugging in x, so 2 times 31 plus 14. Well, doubling 31 is 62. 62 plus 14 is 76. So one of my answers, so the measure of angle XYW equals 76 degrees.
To save time, can you just take your
And subtract it?
Yeah.
If you trust that your math is correct, then yes, you can just subtract it. I like to put it into both just to make sure I did my math correctly. 4 times 31 is 124 minus 20 is 104. So the measure of angle WYZ is 104 degrees. If you add those two together, do you get 180? Yes, so we know we did it right. Okay. Got it? All right, second algebra problem. Are they adjacent angles? Yes or no? Yes. Are they going to be supplementary or complementary? Why do I know they're going to be complementary? Why do I know it's a 90-degree angle? Has that little square in there, right? Okay, so complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90. So what's my equation going to be?
90 equals 2x plus x.
Good. I'm going to put my 90 on the right, but that's fine with what you did. Combine your 2x and 1x to make how many x's? 3x equals 90. X is equal to 30. It makes me very happy when I see people who already are working ahead and on top of it. X is equal to 30. So what's the measure of angle XYW? Yeah, so XYW is the 2x. So 2 times 30 gets us to 60 degrees. So then the measure of angle WYZ would be equal to 30 degrees. Perfect. Okay. All right, grab yourself a practice space. We're going to try some of these out.